I'm running along, and then someone taps me as I go past. He's like, I see you found your pace, Bill.
What's up, guys? My name is Rob, and this is Rob on the Run podcast, a running podcast for all healthy lifestyles. And today I have two great friends of mine. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I met them through Andy. I think that was the first time when I met you guys at a Run in Texas event.
Yeah, I believe so.
I hope to be able to go to a couple of them and see you guys battle it out and see who wins, who gets first place between you two. So that will be fun. But Bill and Terry, how you doing today?
Doing great. How about you?
I'm doing great. How about you, Terry?
I'm doing pretty good.
I see you have a beautiful background. It's nighttime over here. I don't know how it's daytime over there. So that's interesting to see.
In a different time zone.
I share an office with my wife, and her desk is right behind me.
Okay.
So I always use these backgrounds of pictures that I've taken. I think that one's Letchworth State Park in New York.
Nice. But yeah, man, thank you guys for being part of this episode. It's episode 24. And definitely, the easiest question that I always start with with a runner is how did you guys start running? What age and what got you guys to run? And don't tell me you started running because you wanted to drink beer.
No.
I'll let Bill go first on that.
Okay.
One.
Okay. I started actually 9 years ago last month.
Oh, wow.
It was my first, my first 5K that I did. Actually, I still can't say that I love running. It's, but I used to hate running. Oh, I never liked running. High school, whatever, hated it, tried to get out of running the track, everything.
Mm-hmm.
But then about 9 years ago, or a little bit before that, my wife started running 5Ks.
Okay.
Obviously, I thought she was crazy, but I go and support her, and basically I'd hang around. Back then, I was, smoking a pack or two of cigarettes a day, drinking beer all the time. So I would just hang out, wait, and take a picture of her when she crossed the finish line.
Yeah.
After going to a couple of those, I'm waiting for half hour, 45 minutes. I'm like, I might as well balance out my unhealthy lifestyles. Like, why not run? I might as well join her. If I'm going to be out here, I might as well do something.
Yeah.
So signed up for first 5K was a superintendent's fun run, I think, for her school.
Okay.
So we did that. And of course, I'm like, I'm going to blow her away. We go out, I take off like the Flash. And I'm going as fast as I can. I wasn't good at running then at all. So I'm running, walking, looking behind me the whole time. Faster, we start off together. I'm like, yeah, I got this. So I'm dying going through the first, half of whatever, but I'm finished and still looking behind me, getting ready to cross the finish line. And who's there taking my picture is my wife.
Wow.
Apparently she passed me at the very beginning. It was like, I passed you at the very beginning. You didn't see me? I'm like, well, obviously not. So that was my first race. And then kept running. Actually, started kind of enjoying it. And then I quit smoking.
Yeah.
Started eating healthier, got healthier, and actually started doing half decent, at races and running and being much more enjoyable than, coughing up a lung afterwards.
Yeah. And one thing that I take from what you said is you used to smoke and drink beer, but one thing is still a constant, which is drinking beer, right? That still is part of the regimen.
I'm not going to give up the drinking the beer, but I gave up the smoking and and for the most part, like the seriously unhealthy eating.
Awesome. And I've seen you been training. What are you training for? Because I've seen on Strava that you're, very active.
I'm doing the TIR, I think next week.
Oh yeah.
But
Yeah.
I'm doing the Oklahoma City Marathon at the end of April.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I will be doing TIR as well with one of my running groups. So hopefully we'll get to see you there. So that'd be awesome. Yeah. And
Definitely.
Terry, how did you start running? Did you hate it like Bill said, or you had more of a love relationship with it?
I still don't have a love relationship with running. Well, I was that chubby kid in school that would, when they made you run around the track,
Yeah.
would stop behind the bleachers, wait for everybody else to take another lap, and then come in, thinking I was fooling the coach. I used to make the jokes that we hear now. Oh, if you ever see me running, you better run too, because something's chasing me. And so I was have a friend who was running sound for the church I was in,
Yeah.
and met him. Didn't realize it until one day he shows up at church and he's got prosthetic legs.
Okay.
He's got two legs that are artificial below the knee.
Mm-hmm.
And he got the weight loss treatment, and he started getting healthy, started riding his bike, and they started signing up for races.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm kind of thinking, if a person with no legs can run,
Yeah.
and I have no reason not to run. So Chris was kind of my motivation to get out there and start. And it started the way most normal people, normal not being Bill here, where you start walking and then you see how far can I run, and then you push it each day and go in there. And then when you first start running, this is one of the biggest aggravations, is you don't know where to go for the races.
Yeah.
But once you sign up for your first race, you start getting all this spam and stuff about future races.
Yeah.
And I was running with I did all the events for Run Houston. There were 5 of them.
Mm-hmm.
I know his wife have run those as well. But when COVID happened,
Yeah.
those races stopped because they're inside Houston,
Yeah.
and it wouldn't allow you to do the running. But the Run in Texas group had found a way outside of the cities to keep running. So I started running with that group.
Yeah.
And that's a group that runs at all the local independent breweries in the area. And after you run, you get beer. So I just call it carb loading after the race. And the difference with that running group at RIT, Run in Texas, versus the other running groups and events I was running with, is this is a group that was very personable, very friendly.
Yeah.
It was a group that would get together and would run and then stay around and talk about running, and then go, hey, let's go get a bite to eat, and then talk about running and everything else. And, that's where we met. And I believe that though you're a friend of Andy's, we actually met because you were in the Quarantine Run Club.
Yes. Yes.
That
Yeah.
virtual club that we had. We'd
Mm-hmm.
have an assignment for the week, and you and I were posting pictures of our runs during that time.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
At that time.
Yeah, that's true. That's actually true. Yeah, I remember I had to get very used to running by myself through the quarantine, and I wasn't too used to it. I was used to running with a running group or somebody, and going through 2020 and learning how to kind of do it on your own was definitely a hard one. But I think that group, the quarantine group, being able to post and see other people run, it definitely made it a lot easier. But yeah, you are right. Other than Andy, obviously, because he's the one that invited us to one of the events. We were already friends, kind of virtually, I guess, if you want to call it, right?
Yeah.
And how did you guys meet each other, you and Bill?
It was during the quarantine time.
Okay.
We were at the events, and actually before that, it was also the Quarantine Run Club.
Yeah.
And Bill had posted some pictures that he and Diane were running.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember messaging him back going, where is that? It looks like such a great place. That can't be Houston. And it turned out to be the park real near where he is, the former golf course.
Okay.
And so we started talking. Then the event started happening, and I showed up and I ran into him. And that's where we met. And we're kind of the same age group.
Okay.
Same speed. Lately, he's got me beat now. I mean, I crossed over that 60 line, and he's just tearing my, just beating my butt now and running faster. He's also a little bit of the training. But that's how we met, through Run in Texas.
And now that you admit that he kind of beats you in running, how did the rivalry come up? Because it's been several times where I see you guys kind of like go back and forward about who finished first and who finished last or whatnot. How did that happen?
Well, I can tell you exactly how that happened. Yeah, we got to be pretty good friends, hanging out at the
Yeah.
races, talking out afterwards. And yeah, Terry was right. We were, pretty similar, but
Hmm.
most of the time he would blow past me.
Yeah.
You know, I was trying to keep up with him the whole time. He was like one of the guys that would love to beat him. You
Yeah.
know, um, so I was getting better and
Hmm.
getting close to it. We were like going back and forth. And then at the one race, I'm running along, and then someone taps me as I go past. He's like,
Hmm.
I see you found your pace, Bill," and takes off. I'm like, okay, that's it. I'm like, I am going to beat him now. That
Yeah.
now it's on.
That
So
that
I
that was a
think
fuel for the fire.
that was he taps me on the shoulder. Oh yeah, I see you found your pace and takes off. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, now I have a goal.
so I'm going to add context to that story.
Yeah.
Sure.
That event was the Cypress Half Marathon. If I am not mistaken,
Yeah.
it's the first half marathon that either of us ran.
Yes,
Okay.
it is correct.
We started out together in the
Uh-huh.
I actually got talked into doing my first half marathon by Terry when I was drinking after a race before that. So the way I got into running half marathons and ultras is the drinking part. So
Yeah,
be careful
want Bill
drinking.
to
You might not know what you're going to end up running.
We started together, and all of a
Okay.
sudden, and knowing it's a longer pace than a 5K,
Hmm.
half marathons, 2 5 milers and a 5K at the end for fun.
Hmm.
So I held my pace back.
Yeah.
I didn't go out like it was a 5K or even like it was a 10K. I went, so all of a sudden Bill just goes zoom, just kind of like he did in the story when he was talking about Diane.
Yeah.
And I think I can remember the street because I just turned a corner over there in Cyprus and I saw him ahead of me and I saw he had slowed way down.
Uh-huh.
So as I came around on the right hand side, I just tapped him on the corner and go, I see you found that pace. I didn't take off. I just kept going my pace.
Yeah.
Well, every half marathon I've ever run, the at 10 mile mark, the wheels go off.
Yeah.
I struggle for that last 5K bit of it. But I remember that entire time of that race, looking around my corner, looking over my shoulder, going, I hope Bill doesn't pass me. I hope Bill doesn't. And that one, you come down the street and you can see the finish arch, but you've got to go down the side street
Hmm.
around and get back to get the last bit of mileage. And I remember thinking, where is the end of this race? I'm dying. I'm not having fun. And as I came around that turn lane,
Hmm.
U-turn lane, I looked over and here comes Bill. And I think Bill sees me and he puts on the speed.
Oh
And I
yeah,
wish
I saw him, and I was like, oh, like I actually caught up to him. I'm like, I'm gonna catch him, or I'm gonna go home in an ambulance.
so his wife and my wife were at the finish line because they weren't running that. And there is video of us and we're together on the
Yeah.
finish line. I'm just ahead of him and I come through and then he comes through.
Yeah.
And on the time of that race,
Hmm.
we're down with each other to the 10th of a second.
Oh, wow.
The race put me first
Hmm.
when the results.
Yeah.
So I got him by the 100th of a second. Therefore, I won that race.
No.
Yeah.
It was down to the hundredth of a second. You got first because your name comes first alphabetically.
So that was a tiebreaker, I guess.
Well, hey, it's good. It's good to have one of those early last names.
Yeah. Was this the conversation that we were having when I invited you guys to the podcast where Bill was saying that he was beating you, and then you said something about Cyprus? Is this the race that you're talking about, Terry?
That was the one that probably stirred up all of our competition for each other. So we're on the course. So even when we each of us go through our injury phases, it's kind of like, no, I got to take Bill. I don't care who I beat.
Yeah.
I just got to take Bill.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So during my one injury phase, and I have to walk. So, but I'm not going to miss the race. So I walk the whole race.
Yeah.
First thing I hear afterwards from Terry, oh well, when I walked, my pace was such and such. I'm like, okay, next race I do that walking.
Yeah.
I'm beating your pace.
Yeah, we both have had injuries in which our doctor says, "Thou shalt not run." And we both pushed that
Yeah.
rule
Yeah.
to. I mean, I was walking a 14-minute mile pace, and
Oh, wow.
another one, is a friend of Andy's as well. She pretty much just walks the runs, and
Hmm.
it became a running joke that which one would win, the guy who's walking or her who's running walking.
Hmm.
So, yeah, I think we're both competitive by nature. Isn't that safe to say, Bill?
A little bit. I think my wife just heard me in the background. She started laughing.
Yeah, I think both
I
of
heard
y'all.
Diane back there.
Yeah, I think both of y'all are very competitive with each other, and I think that that's what keeps you guys on your toes. But I enjoy watching this because for some reason or another, somewhere in one of the races, I got involved in this too, and I think that was the hot chocolate. I think we were all running the 5K, and I just kept on seeing Bill running in front of me, and I'm like, oh, I can't let this guy have this one. But then like around mile like what was it, mile like two, maybe two and a half, I twisted my ankle and I just saw Bill take off and I'm like, man, I'm probably gonna hear it later about this young man couldn't beat this guy over here. So yeah, but I love watching you guys compete against each other, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted you guys together. I didn't want to interview or have you guys in the podcast separate because I think it would have been better this way to hear the competitive spirit that you guys have. But yeah, like how many marathons have you both ran so far?
I've never ran a marathon.
Oh no,
At a
yeah,
half marathon, it's like that's just 2 hours to 2 minutes, 2 hours to 10 minutes
yeah,
of pure suckitude. It starts out great. I mean, don't get me wrong, but about the time I'm dying, everything hurts, to quote that
hmm,
Parks and Recreation line.
yeah,
And Bill keeps trying to get me to run a marathon, but the thing
yeah,
is, I don't get drunk when I drink. I'm never at a point where my judgment is compromised.
yeah.
So it's really hard to use alcohol to talk me into it. It's like, no, I can't see myself doing 4.5, 5 hours of pure heck just to say
Yes, you
I
can.
did a marathon. But Bill has run several, so I'll let him take that part.
I,
Well,
I've done like six now, and
okay,
I have another one. I'm doing Niagara Falls in October, which is Terry's close to Terry's hometown,
okay.
and I've been putting it out there for him to join me and do his first marathon with me. But so far, he hasn't. As far as I know, he hasn't signed up yet.
I signed up, but I signed up for the 10K. You
Oh,
see,
did you sign up?
knowing Niagara Falls, the 5K is kind of the boring one because you'll never get to see the falls when you're doing the 10 with the 5K. The
Okay.
10K starts over by the road to the dam that they use. It's a one of those dams they use to control water over the falls,
Hmm.
a sluice gate, and it runs down and gets right even with Table Ledge, which is where the Canadian Falls is. You
Hmm.
turn around and you come back over, and you're done. If you
Yeah.
do the half marathon and the marathon, you
Hmm.
go past where you stop and you run upriver.
Okay.
And it's a neighborhood that's these beautiful old homes on the Canadian side, but you go to the falls, you want to see the falls, you don't want to see the river. So
Yeah.
kind of a boring run. So I opted for the 10K, and he opted. I'll be back drinking beer,
Well,
Molson or Labatt's, and he'll still be running.
now that I know Terry's actually definitely going to be in Canada and doing a 10K, you
Hmm.
can also upgrade anytime you want to.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I
he can
agree.
still change at any time and do the marathon. So
How about if I pitch in for the upgrade and that way you do it? I'm with Bill. You got to do at least one, and then this is closest to your hometown, Terry. Come on, you got to do it.
Uh, I'm sorry, I'm hearing peer pressure, and I don't know if it's just going to have that effect.
Bill, we're gonna have to find out what kind of peer pressure he can do. Like he
Yeah,
said, no drinking. Like he doesn't ever get drunk to make these bad decisions. There has to be a way he makes bad decisions. So we're gonna have to figure it out.
we'll definitely figure it out, and I'll definitely be plying him with beer at the race this weekend.
Okay, I like that. I like that. I'm gonna try my best to try to convince him because you gotta at least do it once, just once, Terry.
It is probably a bucket list item, but there are certain ages you hit.
Mm-hmm.
I saw this article. It's like we're not linear in our aging.
Yeah.
That I think it was 38 and 60 are like
Mm-hmm.
walls of running. So I just turned 60 last August. I
Mm-hmm.
was doing great, making progress. I hit 60, and all of a sudden you're waking up and things are hurting. It's like that shouldn't hurt. That shouldn't and you're just not able to keep up. And I've had a real tough time just getting the 10K out this year. So I need a lot more training. I'm doing my first half marathon this year is going to be the Bluebell
Yeah.
because while there's no beer at the end of the Bluebell, it
Mm-hmm.
is unlimited ice cream. And
Yeah.
and if you can't have beer, ice cream's up there is something. And I signed up for the half marathon because I've run every other distance there,
Yeah.
but I have my half marathon training plan with our weather we've been having here has really taken some hits.
So
We'll,
so I
we'll see
take
how,
it so I take it you're more of a summer runner than Terry. You're not a cold weather runner.
no, I love cold weather running. The optimum temperature for me is between 48 and like 55 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
The problem that I have is living out here in the country.
Yeah.
There's no place to run. So
True.
I can go
Yeah.
down to Fulshire, and there's some beautiful places to run in Fulshire, but our streets do not have shoulders,
Mm-hmm.
and our streets have Bubba. And when Bubba sees you running, Bubba aims his pickup truck towards you. So, yeah, literally, I've had this happen. And back when I was starting running on the roads near us, Bill will contest to that. I turned the road one day, and and I posted this picture: three longhorn cattle in the middle of the road.
Oh
That
wow.
fence. The next 3 days later, a woman she claims she fell asleep, but I believe you can't fall asleep on that road. There's no straight line. I believe she
Mm-hmm.
was on the cell phone. She came over the bridge over Bessie's Creek, and I think she got airborne and flipped her car, rolled it up against the fence. Car's on fire. I'm running down this road, and here's this overturned car on fire.
Oh
Um,
wow.
so there's that one, and then there was some. Oh yes, the stray dog that chased me for 5K.
Oh
So
wow.
I run at the high school, like Bill runs at the high school in his neighborhood. I run at ours.
Yeah.
My high school that I run at, and I won't name it, but it's old um, rice fields, and I
Okay.
don't think they did a good job leveling it. So it's kind of a swamp, mosquitoes, rain. And when you run on a track, and all three of us run on track, because I've seen
Yeah.
our straight,
Yeah.
um, you expect a flat course, right?
Of course.
It's track. That's where you do speed work. If you
Yeah.
look at Strava for this particular uh, uh, high school track that I run,
Yeah.
5K, I do 26 feet of elevation change.
Wow.
You can actually feel it in the course, and that area is where it starts getting wet.
Oh
So
wow.
I do
So
love.
you've been doing hill training. You have an advantage on me this weekend.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh
Remember,
my
this is
God.
the good direction this weekend.
Where is the run in Texas going this weekend? I forgot already.
Um,
Middleton Brewing and outside of San Marcos.
Ah, yes, 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 yes. Yeah.
I talked over you, Bill. Sorry about that.
What's
No,
that?
no, you're good. You're good. You're good.
It was Middleton Brewery in San Marcos,
Yeah.
and you've done that one, haven't you?
Yeah, I think I have. Yeah, I think I have. Unfortunately, this time we're not going to be able to do that one, but we are planning to do a couple because it's been a while. I think I haven't done one in at least a couple years or more. I can't even remember, but we definitely want to hit up some of the local ones. And I think we were talking about doing the which one is that one? It's one that is in I'm going to say Dripping Springs.
12
Dripping
Fox.
Springs would be 12 Fox, yes.
12 Fox, yes. We definitely want to do that one just because me and Alma went on just to go check it out because we had missed it one time, and man, we fell in love with the place. It's so nice, and they got pretty decent beer. So I definitely want to go and do that one. And I think we're gonna do Southern Star and Back Pew and there's another one in Conroe. I think I forget which one is it.
B52.
B52. Yeah, I really like that one. I think that was the last one I did before we hadn't done one in a while, but definitely gonna do those. And of course, the one in Katy, just because it's kind of close for us because we live on the other side of town, but it's still it's within driving distance, I guess. But yeah, those running in Texas races are fun. And for you guys, which one is kind of like your favorite brewery to go that you've done and run in Texas? Let's see.
I think we both agree on Back Pew.
Back Pew.
Terry can tell you why. He has a special game that he sets up.
Okay.
Every time for the race.
I think I know this one. But I'll let you say it, Terry.
Back Pew is just north of Conroe in Porter, Texas.
Mm-hmm.
We want to consider it's always in the November time frame, kind of around the Thanksgiving time.
Yeah.
But it was the third run in Texas race that I did. First, of course, being no label for the same reason. It's so close to me.
Yeah.
But COVID was just releasing. Bill, I think you were the American flag that day because we didn't have one, but he had an American flag banner, and we all turned to Bill and sang the national anthem. But the byline for run in Texas is runs off the beaten path. And I remember Bill, the race director, Bill Gardner, saying, this is our logo. And when you run this course, you're going to see exactly what we mean. Yeah. So it's this country subdivision.
Mm-hmm.
Country.
Yeah. An upscale trailer park where trailer parks aren't allowed, but kind of the same of scenery that you see.
Yeah.
And there's one section that's you get outside the homes, running around to the turnaround, and it's this really narrow gravel road that crosses a ravine, and it's the garbage dump. If you got something that the garbage man won't pick up, you throw it out. And it became a running joke. Well, 3 years ago, I said, I'm making up. I originally said scavenger hunt, but we turned it into a bingo game.
Okay.
So I print up some bingo cards beforehand and we hand them out at the race and we say, okay, I'm not going to require proof, but tell me what you see. Now, one of the hardest parts about this is trying to figure out what junk is going to be in the ravine. Everything from washing machines to boats to Christmas trees, toilets. One of these days, there's going to be a full toilet, and I'm just going to stop mid-race, not worry about it. Take a picture of me sitting on the toilet out there.
I'm pretty sure I've seen a toilet in the past.
There is a toilet that's all smashed up. I'm not sitting on that.
Okay, yeah. It probably is smashed up.
But yeah, so we turned into a bingo game. Well, the owner of Back Pew likes it, so I give him one. I thought for sure Bill and Karen Gardner were going to be upset that we were, making fun of the course. Karen just absolutely loved the idea and said, I want a bingo card. So it kind of became our thing to turn it into a bingo game as we're putting down our beer after the run.
Yeah.
Terry actually has runners and walkers stopping to take pictures now. Like prove that they saw stuff afterwards.
It became an attraction, kind of like Disneyland. You know how you take pictures with the characters.
Yes,
it's kind of like that, but then Back Pew. So that's pretty awesome. And yes, I've done that one, and every single time I pass by there, I always find something new. So it's interesting how it seems like it's just piling up and piling up. I think. And you guys can correct me because obviously you guys have done it more. 1 year, I think there was even a couch, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, yeah.
I believe so.
It's actually on there. So outdoor and indoor furniture are two separate bingo squares. So, guard chairs are always out there, but there was a couch. Mattresses are out there. Years ago, when the first time I made up bingo cards, 2 or 3 years ago, someone had dumped out like 50 tires.
Oh, wow.
They missed a great opportunity because if it was me, I would have like the old high school football teams had to do, and I would have staggered them, and you had to go tung, 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 to the tires. But it was just inundated with tires.
Oh, wow, wow. That's crazy.
Also, I just really like the course too. It's got hills, curves,
Hmm.
flat parts, and the brewery is excellent with lots of
Yes.
parking and excellent seating out back. So
Yeah. Yeah,
I
I
mean
agree.
that and the bingo part of it, definitely the my favorite race course.
And I probably will know. I have an idea that I have the answer for Terry, but I want to see if I'm right. What is like the best part about the runs, like how you get your medals and stuff like that? But what is the best part that you guys love about the run in Texas part? Obviously, the beer. I already know the beer
Oh,
is one, so we got to take that out, guys.
well,
Um,
me, I would have to say it's got to be the people.
yeah.
But when I first started running, I mean, like I said, I was still smoking. I would cross the finish line, light up a cigarette and stuff. But when I started running, I'm like, I don't feel like I belong here. Like, we're actually going out with like runners. I kind of
Hmm.
felt embarrassed.
Yeah.
But the best people you could ever meet. So we finish up after a run, people who walk the whole way
Hmm.
or do good or do great. I mean, I'm hanging out with people who, you know, did like a 7 minute mile or something. And they're sitting
Yeah.
down at the table talking, giving me advice and such. And it's just amazing. I was like, I thought it was going to be intimidating
Yeah.
that, you know, like runners would look down on slow runners. But
Yeah.
no, the running Texas people, everybody there is equal, you know,
Yeah.
everybody's there just to hang out, have fun, help each other out.
Hmm.
So to me, that's the best part.
Yeah. And I would agree, but on slightly different
Okay.
ways. So I was doing this training program during COVID where most of it was treadmill running because everything
Hmm.
was closed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Someone had made a comment that for long runs, have yourself a race shirt with your name on the back because nothing really will motivate you than hearing from someone, you got this, Terry, insert your name here. Terry, you can do this, Terry. And I actually
Yeah.
have one of those winning shirts from this group that was doing it.
Yeah.
But like last year, as we were running a lot of these races, I always thank all the police officers.
Hmm.
That's how I can tell my pace. If I can at least get a thank you out, I'm not pushing it too hard.
Yeah.
But I started noticing that every person I was passing or was passing me was somebody that we actually knew by name. We're talking hundreds of runners, and it's just constantly, go Matt, go Bill. So these people, you run with these people. We go through a lot of BS together.
Yeah.
But the other thing I like about this group, whether it's Matt who runs a 5K warm-up run faster than I do a race, big masters, by
Yeah.
someone else's time, and he's our age, or the walkers, you don't get what you get in most races. I'm very type A,
Yeah.
and nothing bothers me more than the people who go into the front of the starting line with zero
Yeah.
and then walking five abreast and oblivious
Yeah.
to you saying on your left as you try to pass them and actually
Yeah.
look like a plague person when you do.
Yeah.
In running Texas, everybody knows where to line up and you
Yeah.
don't get it's not that first half kilometer you're trying to get into your pace group and around all these other people.
Yeah.
So not only a good group of runners, but it's people who respect the running and respect other runners. And I
Yeah.
just love this group.
No, I agree. I agree with both of you guys. I think for me, it's also the people. And when I got invited to, go to a run, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, it must have been Back Pew. I think that was my first one.
Huh?
And, I felt a little intimidated just because I was going into somewhere that I didn't know many people other than, you, Terry, online, but not in person. And I think Bill, we met in person for the first time. I'm not sure if it was also virtually, but
Right.
right when Andy introduced me to everybody, everybody was super nice. Everybody, was welcome. They welcomed me and Alma, and after that, we knew we would have to do other races because it was fun, and
now, a word from our sponsor.
sadly, and I tell Alma, it's like, sadly, it's weird. When we lived in Austin, I feel like we went to more races. Now we're more local and we're not going to many races, which is very, very, that I'm very disappointed in myself for that, but definitely that will change this time around. But I also, yeah, that is also a really cool thing that you said, Terry, because like you said, everybody knows their pace and everyone, aligns to where they should be, because at the end of the day, they want to have a good time and they want to, let the fast runners do what they do and, let the slow runners do what they do as well. So, yeah, I agree. But I will tell you, Terry, I thought you were going to tell me about the medals, especially when they raffle them out and you got like first place for a 70-year-old woman or something like that. One time I remember that I like that they raffle or give away the medals the people didn't show up or whatnot. That's a really cool thing, man.
So the thing about running Texas is they don't give finisher medals.
Yeah,
if you're in the first the top 3 of your age group, there's medals. They're great ones. I have one in my wallet right now. In fact, let's see here. I think it's from No Label. And because you never want to be without one of these, but it's a
of course. Yeah.
And so here we go. Yep, there it is. So it's the No Label 2022 First Street Brewing Company. So you have this. And so you get those only if you win, or you're lucky enough to get raffled off and get the 70-year-old lady third place. What you do get, pardon me here, because I didn't actually pour it, but every time you run, you get I think
put your hand if you put your hand behind it, you'll see it'll work.
They do the glasses, so each one of the brewers has a pint glass. Unfortunately, if you run as many as Bill and I have run over, I've got a box up in my man cave that I'm going to donate to a restaurant out here who needs glasses. And
nice.
I go, we don't mind if it's some brewery's glasses, we'll take them.
Yeah.
So because you just get too many of them, but that's what they do. So.
Well, and Terry didn't mention it, but I would say running Texas is one of the hardest places to get a medal at.
Yes.
They're not the biggest races, but they're probably some of the most competitive races.
Yeah.
As far as I can run a local one in Houston. I did a 10K 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I finished first in my age group. Running Texas, most of the time, I'll be like 10th to 15th in my age group. It's very hard to finish the top 3.
Yeah.
The running Texas people, the beer drinkers, those are the fast guys. And then it's almost as older you get. When I started getting a little bit better running, I was like late 40s, and I could snag a second or third place every now and then medal, like every now and then. When I turned 50, then that's when I was like 15 in my age group. And I'm like, are you serious? And I would look and I'd be like, if I was 30 years old, I would have got first place or second place. But no, I'm in 50 age category. Then of course Terry was, so that was also back and forth. Like, oh, if we're gonna get, there's only 3 medals to give out. Terry, I got to worry about. A couple other people I got to worry about. So that was also competition. Like, I definitely got to finish in front of Terry because I'll be lucky to get third place.
The joke we kind of make, and no, I don't want anybody to take offense at this, but we identify as 30-year-old males because if we run our pace as a 30-year-old male, we would actually be placing.
Wow!
But as you get up to the 50s and even the 60s, now 60s got Graham and Barry and Jim, guys,
Matthew,
runners, Matthew, because Matthew's up in that group now, and you're not going to place unless they're all sick. But
Yeah,
for some reason, the group, the 20s, 30s, and 40s are slower. And you would think it's just the opposite because your running peak is in your 20s
yeah.
and 30. But
Mm-hmm.
no, my theory on this is when you get done with the race, you get in the line, you get a beer because
Yeah.
they give you 2 pints of beer. And then when you're done with that beer, you get back in line and you get your second pint. And then you always
Mm-hmm.
have giving you tickets. Well, us crotchety old men do not like to wait in line. And when we get done with the race, we want that beer now. We don't want to wait 15 minutes through a line to get it. So we're going to beat everybody there.
Yeah.
Now
That.
the other people go, no, it's because our kids are all grown up and we can focus on the things we like to focus on.
Yeah.
As first in the beer line, going, yeah, you can't
Mm-hmm.
help believe that, but I know you don't like lines as much as I don't like lines.
That's a really good theory. I'm gonna agree with that. I don't like making lines, so sometimes when I ran these races, I do like to run them as fast as I can, so I can beat the line. So it's a good theory. It's a good theory. We're gonna have to put it into play next time that I go and see if which one of us finishes first for sure.
Well, I think it should be B52 in April or something.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I definitely gonna that one I definitely want to go. I really like the place. It was very nice. And definitely we need to go. But I was thinking about this earlier before we even got on, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but why is it that you guys are not part of Team Tofu?
I like meat. I don't want to give anybody the false impression
Yeah.
I'm a vegetarian. I'm a second generation vegetarian in
Okay.
truth and in joke. See, my dad's a vegetarian.
Okay.
He could not eat meat. It actually made him sick.
Okay.
It wasn't religious or psychological reasons, but he had something wrong with his body and he couldn't eat meat.
Okay.
So us hell of his sons made up for it. But
Mm.
the classic joke about a second generation vegetarian is I eat the cow that ate the vegetables.
Okay.
And I have thought about because they're pretty quick at saying, "You don't have to be a vegetarian. We're just doing this to get into the beef runners." I've thought about joining that group, but I just don't want to be assumed to be a liar when they see me wolfing down a hamburger after the race.
Yeah, I would say probably the same thing. When I was trying to get healthier and eat better, I dabbled in being a vegan for a while
Yeah.
and vegetarian. Um, and I did enjoy it.
Yeah.
But now I don't eat a lot of meat. I eat more chicken and fish,
Mm-hmm.
but I do like to not be just strictly vegetable.
Yeah, no, I'm not a vegetarian, or to be honest, I've never even tried tofu, so I don't even know if I would like it. But yeah, Alma said, yeah, let's get a Team Tofu shirt, because we got to stick it to the Team Beef. They're always everywhere and whatnot. So I was like, why not?
Yeah.
Why
Now
not?
that would be the reason that I would join Team Tofu because every race you show up is team beef everywhere.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They're
Mm-hmm.
even at park runs. If you do one of the two park runs here in the Houston area, the beef guys are always there.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know about other places in Texas, but the one thing I've noticed about the beef eaters group
Yeah.
with the red shirts and team beef,
Mm-hmm.
they're slow. Usually at the end in the talking group, maybe it's too many hamburgers. I don't know. You look at the tofu runner group, and they're all
Yeah.
pretty fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say when I
Making a
first started
statement.
running and doing the run in Texas, I mean, the shirts stand out, so
Mm-hmm.
you always see them. And well, Andy would always pass me. I'd be going along, he was starting in the back, and
Yeah.
then I'm like, got him, and then Andy goes running past me. So he was one of the ones I didn't have a competition with him, but I was like, I want to beat him, like I know I can beat him, and that was
Yeah.
like one of my goals was try to beat him. But it's also like you see their shirts, and it's like, yeah, they're fast. They're not slow runners.
Yeah, yeah, we definitely have some pretty fast runners. Our faithful leader is fast, but lately he's been with injuries, whatnot. But he's usually pretty fast. So, Yeah, I did it just because I love instigating. I love it. I love creating some buzz. But yeah, I love meat. I eat mostly chicken as well. Even at that, but uh, I always loved that it started as a joke and then it ended up getting much bigger than what they expected because um, Justin told me that he would get messages from people out of state or people out of Houston that they wanted a Team Tofu shirt, and it's crazy. It's crazy.
That's
Uh,
awesome.
that how it got so popular, but I've been always curious about that because you guys are good friends with all of them, but not representing. But maybe we can make a combination kind of shirt where it's half Team Tofu and beef or something like that. That'd be kind of cool.
Or just an asterisk over tofu with a little itty bitty
Right?
microscopic line that says we're not all vegans.
Actually, that would be a cool shirt. Yes, I'm gonna have to tell Justin we're gonna have to add a little asterisk right next to it. But guys, it's been amazing. I really enjoy you guys. I enjoy your banter between each other, and we're kind of here at the end of the podcast. But before we do, we have a question from our previous guest, which was episode 24, and so we'll let him ask the question, and then you guys can come back and answer the question. Okay?
What are you thankful for the most after the race? Like, what's your
Nice.
first thought? Is it gratitude or something, or is it not? Is it is it your training? Is it
But go ahead, Bill. Go ahead, Bill. And answer you. I'll let you answer the question first, since you're not in the tiebreaker for the name. So we'll let you start first.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Well, I didn't get the question.
Oh, what are you thankful for the most after a race?
I would say now, I'm just thankful that I can still run.
Yeah,
A year and a half ago, I had a stroke. I
yeah.
could barely walk afterwards and didn't know if I was going to.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm just happy to be out and competing,
Mm-hmm.
um, and hanging out with people doing the same thing, that doing what they love, running.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people can't run, or they've had injuries where they can't come back and run.
Mm-hmm.
So actually, I just enjoy going out and doing what I can do.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And yeah, I remember when we found out about that, I reached out to you and made sure that you were okay because uh, it was crazy to hear, and it's crazier to see that after your stroke, you just became much like more, even faster, I would say. And
I I came back, and a month and a half later, I set my PR in the Houston Marathon.
yeah.
And then I ran a half marathon in April and had a PR. And I think I was just much more motivated.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, you reached out. I couldn't tell you how many runner friends reached out to me
Yeah.
or stopped by to see me, and that part was just amazing. That
Yeah.
the running community is
Mm-hmm.
just yeah, it's an amazing community.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I'm glad you're doing better, and you got a little motivated there, and maybe it was a blessing in disguise if you see it that way. It got you, it lit that fire.
Yes, it's definitely an eye opener and a motivator. Definitely.
That's awesome. How about you, Terry? What are you thankful the most after a race?
Well, I actually answer this question now when people say, how'd the race go? Did you win? Which is a silly question with these races. So I've
Yeah.
got three things I look forward to doing each race. One
Mm-hmm.
is I didn't walk.
Okay.
Number two is I didn't fall down and break anything,
Mm-hmm.
because my injury was I actually got thrown from my horse and broke my neck, which
Yeah.
sidelined me for 6 months from running.
Yeah.
And number three, I didn't poo my pants. I figure any good race is, I meet all three of those in
Yeah.
there. But I love the racing community
Yeah.
um, when it's a mutually motivating. Like Bill said, it doesn't matter what your speed is. This group likes to encourage everybody that's out there. If
Yeah.
you're walking your first 5K, we're
Mhm.
cheering you. If you're setting a pace and you're going to blow us all away by 10 minutes, we're cheering you on as
Yeah.
long as you're in our age group.
Yeah. Of course. Of course. That's very important. Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's that because there is time in each race where you kind of go. I think Bill said this at the beginning. I'm not really in love with running, but you
Hmm.
go, I keep doing this, and
Yeah.
then you finish the race and you know the answer to that question.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anything that's good for you is technically not easy to keep doing. So
Yeah.
whether it's weights or running or whatever your sport is, whatever it is you like to do, if it's beneficial and healthy for you, it's not easy.
Yeah.
And if it stops being easy, you're not pushing yourself.
Exactly. Exactly. And I have a love-hate relationship with running. Especially when I sign up for a marathon. In my case, Bill, I don't have to be drunk to get bamboozled into a marathon. For example, this next year in 2026, a good friend of ours wants me to pace her for the Austin Marathon, and she asked me to do it. And of course, that's all it takes. Just ask me, and I'll say yes. So,
Nice.
I'm actually going to run Houston because that's a for sure that I'm always going to run the Houston Marathon. Then in February, Austin Marathon, and then 2 months later, if everything works well, I'll be running London for my fourth major. So, yeah,
That's
I
awesome.
don't get bamboozled by being drunk. When I get drunk, I made other dumb decisions, but not for running. So that's a good one. So
You
again,
have
we
a
got to go back to Terry. We need to figure out how we need to get Terry into
yes.
doing a marathon for sure.
This is the perfect time for him to check off a bucket list, and
Yes,
he has until
yes.
October.
Hmm. I agree.
Well, there got to be affordable runs because I was going to sign up for the Houston half this year,
Yeah,
the one that passed.
yeah,
But even signing up early, the price was, for the half marathon was absolutely ridiculous. I can't justify over $100 for a half marathon race as an early when I can run Bluebell
hmm,
for $38, and it's a big race,
yeah.
and get ice cream if you sign up a year in advance. So I'm cheap as well as a good runner. So you have a return on investment because if I'm going to go through Suck City for 5 hours of running, it better be affordable Suck City.
Well, what if we you become a sponsored runner for a marathon, and me and Bill pitch in half, and then now you have no excuse, Mister Cheap Guy over there.
There we go.
See, I'm not going to also. I'm also not dumb enough to make any promises on recording. I got Nixon
Man,
in trouble. Remember?
yeah, yeah, yeah. We'll get you. We'll get you. I'm gonna make it into a plan to get you to run, even if I sign you up and then just tell you, hey, you got to be there this day. I'm gonna have to figure it out, but I'll run with you, Terry. If you want, to have Suck City with someone else, I will definitely run with you the whole way.
So, and then afterwards, we can do another podcast and you can tell me how it was. But probably the guarantee was you'd have to classify it as NSF or NSFW, not safe for work.
Oh my God, that's so
Actually,
funny.
just real quick on the side, Justin actually paced me to my first sub two half marathon.
Oh
He
wow.
came to me, asked me what my goal was,
Yeah.
and I said my goal's to finish. And he's
Okay.
like, "Do you want to do a sub two?" And I
Yeah.
was like, there's not a chance. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
He's like, "I can get you to sub two." I'm like, "Do what you want to. You're going to hear a lot of nasty words along the way," and he did.
Yeah.
But he got me to a sub two.
That's
He
awesome.
stayed with me and pushed me the whole time. So I would have to say it was awesome that Justin came up, and I knew him.
Yeah.
We weren't good friends or anything like that, but no, he saw me, and you know he wanted to help me do a sub two, and he did. And that's what I gotta say about the running community. I mean,
Yeah.
everyone's just helping each other out and
Yeah.
pushing each other to do better, and that was amazing of him.
Yeah, and it's just like that. Like I mentioned to you about getting bamboozled. A good friend of ours asked me, "Hey, do you think you can, pace me for Austin?" And I said, "Sure." I've never done it, but I know it's extremely hard. But hey, if
And,
you want to suffer together, then why not?
and 1 month after Houston,
Yeah, 1 month after Houston. Yeah.
you're gonna have a great start of the year next year.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And if I'm not mistaken, Austin ends at the top of Enfield, doesn't it?
No, that's exactly the halfway point of the half marathon and the marathon. Well, it's the ending point for the half, and then the halfway point for the marathoners.
Okay, because someone had told me at one time that was the ending point. If you know anything about Austin running, the
Mhm.
joke in Austin is every race in Austin is go up Enfield.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
of course, the one you want to do is the 3M downhill to downtown race,
Oh
where the
yeah.
half marathon is a downhill run.
Well, now they changed the name. Now it's called the Austin International Marathon.
Okay.
That's the new name. And I heard from a good friend of mine that the reason why they changed it is because a lot of people didn't even know there was a half marathon. Like if you were to tell somebody, "Hey, are you going to do 3M?" They're like, "What's 3M?"
Yeah.
I
So
never heard of it before, but now that you mentioned it, I may have to sign up next year and run with you also.
I will do that one. Since I'm doing the Austin Marathon, Austin actually has what's called an Austin Distance Challenge, and there's 5 races that you run, and you either do it through the half marathon because it all leads up to the half marathon in Austin, the Austin Marathon, or do the full. So. I'm gonna try to do all of them since I'm already gonna do the Austin full marathon. Might as well do it. But basically, if I'm not mistaken, it's the Heroes 5K, then Run for the Water. I forget one of them, and then it's Decker Challenge, which is uh, that one took my soul when I did it the one time. And then it's 3M in January and February. It's in Austin International, and then the
Oh,
um, the Austin Marathon. So I might do all 5, but
Mhm.
yeah, I'll be there next year. So if you guys do any of them, let me know, and we can definitely um, give ourselves some trash talk to see who does better.
that would be awesome.
Yeah. You doing Cap this year? Cap 10K?
No, because we signed up for the Art Car 5K, which is the same day.
Always the same day. So is Andy doing that with you as well? Because
I would think he would. I haven't heard anything if he is. He's kind of taking a little bit of a slow start for the running year. So I'm not sure if he's hurt or whatnot, but he hasn't been running much or a lot, I guess. But I would think, man, he loves beer just like all 3 of us here. So why not? But I actually wanted to do Cap 10 because I had my best time at Cap 10. I did a PR 2 years ago. I lowered my 10K from 54, 56 minutes to 48 minutes, which
Nice.
was really good. But
that course,
um,
that's great.
yeah, I love the course. I love the way, what they do over there for that course. But yeah, unfortunately not this year, Terry, but more than likely next year for sure I will. I will do it. So hopefully, we get to see each other a little bit more.
Yeah. So that's actually one of my favorite runs, and I run it with my wife's niece, who's an
Hmm.
Austin police officer, which
Okay.
means I get to park right near the bridge.
Nice, nice.
Go with her police cruiser, and we park by the bridge and stop traffic, and so you don't have to deal with everything y'all are dealing with. But no,
Man, I think
I love.
go ahead, Terry.
No, I just said I love that course.
Okay.
First 5K is uphill, second 5K is downhill.
Yeah. I like the way it is because at least you have a fighting chance to have a decent time because it's the second half kind of is more forgiving than the first part. And
Yeah.
I don't know about you, Terry, but I've ran the Austin half, which you go up Enfield
Mhm.
one way, and then you
Yep.
run Enfield the other way for Cap 10. I think it's harder on the Cap 10 side.
I've heard both because the first one is you come up the opposite direction. You come up Mopac,
Mm-hmm.
so that's the uphill, and then you run down Enfield, where Cap 10K goes up Enfield and down Mopac. So,
Yeah.
but I've heard that the Mopac way is actually the harder, though I've never done that.
When you go up down Enfield, because obviously you're going to go down that hill, but from after going down Enfield, going towards still on Enfield, I feel like they're all rolling up hills versus when you do the half marathon going the opposite way, they're kind of rolling down a little bit. So that's where I think it's the hardest one, because at least when you get to Enfield in the half, it's just that one hill and then you're done.
Yeah.
So you got to suffer for maybe 10, 20 seconds and that's it. Or just walk it, whatever you decide to do. But yeah, for some reason, I always thought that the Cap 10, the opposite way, was a little tougher for me to do. Maybe it's just me, who knows? But gentlemen, again, I don't want to take too much of your time. It's almost it's an hour just right now. Do you guys have a question for our next guest, which would be episode 25? And this guest will be lucky because he or she will have to answer 2 questions. So who wants to go first? Who wants to go first?
Go ahead, Bill.
I would say, what motivates you to get up and train every day?
Good question.
I get up every morning and I'm at the track by 5 o'clock in the morning, and I know that's early. And a lot of times I don't, I try to find ways to talk myself out of going.
Yeah.
But what motivates you to get up and go train every day?
Great question. And what about you, Terry? What do we have?
What is the worst race you've ever run and why?
I like that.
That's a good one.
what is the worst race you've ever ran?
It was, for me personally, it
Uh-huh.
was the Cape half marathon. And it was my second half marathon. And I got COVID the weekend beforehand.
Whoa. Okay.
Again, cheap guy here. You're not going to get a refund. I ran it. And I was pacing out with the 2-hour group. And as I'm running it, the 205 group passes me, the 210 group passes me, the 215 group, the 220, the 225. And I'm looking over my shoulder and says, there's no way in heck I'm going to let the 230 group beat me. And remember I said you like hearing your name called?
Yeah.
I was wearing a shirt with my name, and this little girl right there before you finished it gave me that motivation to keep going. The 230 group was right behind me.
Yeah.
But it is a race photo that you would never put on your race photo page, because literally I look like I'm about to throw up. It was everything I could do to get to the end of the finish line for that, because I was running and not being able to get a good breath in. So,
Yeah.
COVID kicked butt for that race.
Oh, wow.
I was there waiting for him at the finish line. And I'm
it
looking
was
at my
cold.
watch and I'm like, 205, 210, 215. I'm like, okay, now I'm starting to get worried about him. I'm like, 220, where is Terry at? Like, do we need to call out the helicopter, or what is going on?
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Bill and I's first half marathon, we finished at 201 and change. And that's our
wow.
very first. So you're kind of expecting you're going to come close to that. And the weather was cold. So you're like, it should do good. And that's what I was expecting. No, COVID kicked my butt. There's this one announcer in Houston area.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got the curse, because he announces for the Katy Turkey Dash.
Okay.
And he always says, it looks like we beat the rain. And that son of a, we always get rained on every time he says. Last year,
every time.
I said, don't you dare say it, or I'm going to come over here and put that microphone somewhere you don't want that microphone. And he did this race. He goes, hey, it looks like we're going to miss the race. And it was cold. It was rainy.
Oh, my God.
Miserable on top of COVID. So that was my worst race ever.
Yeah. My worst race was actually my first half marathon that I ever done. because we did it in Vegas, and maybe about 2 or 3 weeks before, I ended up getting an injury, and it turned out it was tendonitis. And so we had already invested in, the race, and no insurance, of course. And I guess I'm in the Terry, being cheap and not wanting to lose my money. And of
Yeah.
course, we had already done the reservations for the flight. Well, we had paid the flight already, and the hotel and all these things. So Alma told me, a week before we went, she made me go to the doctor and get it checked. And she said, if the doctor says you can't run, then we could still go, or we can cancel the flight, and we can use the money for another flight, I guess. But we're gonna have to lose the race. And so I go to the doctor, and yeah, the doctor told me, nope, don't do this race. You can injure yourself even worse. And as a good runner and cheapskate that I am, I told Alma, oh, she gave me the green light. I'm okay. So,
Awesome.
I run this race, and right at mile 3, I made it to mile 3 pain free. And then my leg, one of my legs, it would just flop like a pancake. It would just go down, like just no movement at all,
Tendons, yeah.
and as a doctor told me, once I finished the race, I couldn't even walk with one leg. So I ended up being injured, for like 3 months, couldn't run. And I went to the doctor, and she said, you did the race, didn't you? And I said, yes, I did. And she was very, very mad. And she I barely told Alma about this, like maybe a year ago or something. I felt like I had to say it because we were going to get married, and I don't want to start a marriage with lies. So, I finally told her, and she's like, I figured that you still wanted to do it. I was like, well, at least you know me. So, but yeah, that's my worst race, but not because of the organization or anything. It's kind of like you, Terry. I didn't have COVID, but I definitely did the wrong thing in running it, because I paid the price. I definitely paid the price. But man, those races are expensive. Definitely. And who buys race insurance? I've never bought race insurance,
No,
which I
no.
should, but who does it? So yeah, that's the worst one.
It's not just the race, it's the travel costs. So half of run in Texas or in Austin, half are here.
Mm-hmm.
It's hotels or Airbnb that you get. It's everything else that's associated with it. And I'm coming here to do this. And I've only ever missed one race.
Okay.
And all that I run, probably I run about 27 a year.
Mm-hmm.
And one that I missed was the Cavern Run in San Antonio, which is the one I got COVID at. Up there
Wow.
and got out of the car and did my demo run. Another cold day. It was in the 20s.
Oh,
Did
wow.
my did my practice run around the parking lot, and I came back in the car with my wife and go, I can't do this. I cannot breathe. So I went back to the hotel. She ran the race, and that's the
Yeah.
only race never I have a DNF, DNS, DNF, whatever you want to
We
call
were
it.
there, and I was trying to convince him to run, but I did. I think I ran a little bit in the parking lot with him,
Yeah.
and from watching him, I'm like, okay, yeah, no, it's not going to happen. I
Yeah.
can't push him to try to do anything. I'm like, he's got to tap out of this one.
Yeah, but cheapness. You paid for all this, and the last thing you want to do is put another $17 on for insurance when you're cheap.
Exactly. Exactly. And especially if that throws it from like 90 some dollars to 100, then that definitely is a red flag for Terry. So
Yeah.
definitely.
And when you're married to an accountant, you tend to be cheap.
We'll blame it on the wife because she can't defend herself. I like it. Good job. Good job, Terry.
She's in the other room now.
Well, guys, I appreciate your time. I had a great time with you guys. Hopefully, we'll see each other soon, and hopefully sooner. So, because y'all both, as we already discussed through the text, the messenger thing, both of y'all owe me beer because it was my birthday. So you guys got to get me a beer. So for sure.
We would definitely take care of that. It's been a lot of fun. Thank you for inviting me on.
Yeah, man. Thank you very much. You guys have a great night, and we'll see each other soon. Okay.
All right.
Thanks, Bob. We'll see you next
Thank you.
time.
Yes. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.